All right, hello everyone. My name is Mr. Hopkins. This is my lovely assistant, Charlie. And today I'm really excited because we're going to get to create something that I haven't created in a long time, but it used to be one of my favorite things to create, which is a map. And maps come in all shapes and sizes. You can map your living room, you can make a map out of your basement, you can go outside and go for a walk, which is what we're going to do. And we're going to map our neighborhood a little bit, but the first thing I'm going to share, you're going to wave your magic wand, right? The fancy word for map making is called cartography. So wave it. Cartography. And cartography has been around for thousands of years. If you didn't yet, check out the videos that I posted on cartography just so you can learn a little bit more about map making. And we're not going to get involved in like all the real fancy stuff, but we're just going to have fun and we're going to be artists when we make our maps. But I used to love making maps, and I want to show you one of my maps that I made about 18 years ago when I just wanted to make maps. And Charlie, if you can you go down and grab that big map right there and hold it up, put it right here so everyone can see. Okay, this is a map that I made just for fun, and it's no place in particular. It's a made-up place of all different things. I have mountains on there. I have forests. I have a gulf and rivers and canyons and plateaus and all kinds of cool stuff. And there's even towns in there too, and cities. Yeah, so this is the map that I drew about 18 years ago. You can see I can get kind of close. Look at the detail I put in my map. Again, it's just a made-up place. Rivers and valleys and mountains and forests. Cities and towns and bays and lakes. Very cool. Took me a long time, but it's fun to make. I used watercolor, gouache, colored pencils, markers. So that's my map. That one down. Oh my God. Maps that you're probably familiar with. You want to grab that book over there too, that big book. Your mom or your dad might have this in their car. They're becoming less...
This is confusing.
Yeah, they're becoming less important now because of our phones, and we can use our phones to find out where we need to go. But this is like an old atlas, which is like an old map book, and it just filled... This is the whole United States, cities and states. But this is a map book, and you can see that if I hold it this way, that's the state of Maine. That's pretty cool. Big state, right? So if you need to know where you're going in Maine, you would look at this map and you can find your way going anywhere you want in that entire state. So that's a really cool map book. This one is from 1998. This is a really old map book. I'm going to put that down. And recently, not too long ago, I bought my older daughter a map, an old map of Los Angeles. See that one? This is an old map of old Los Angeles. And this is somewhere my daughter eventually might want to go to college, so I bought this for her room. But I just love it. I just love maps because just the way they're drawn. Someone actually drew this and put their time and effort into it. I just love the lines and the shapes and what you can just discover by looking at a map. So this is one of Los Angeles, which we were in Los Angeles last summer. We had a good time there. Now, this is a map from 1926. Now, maps in the art of cartography. Maps, what is a map? Okay, a map is a drawing of a place, right? But it's drawing of a place usually from above. Like if you were in an airplane or you were a bird and you were looking down at the place you were making a map of, that's how you would usually make a map. And maps, that's all it is. It's a picture. Now, there's something called, you're going to use your magic wand again. Wave it. There's something called scale. Boop. Scale. So we made a map. We went outside and we made a map of the neighborhood when we drew the trees and the houses and the cars that are parked. Could we draw them the same size they are outside, or do we have to draw them a lot smaller? Could we go outside and draw a huge car on our map paper? Why?
Because that would be like, oh my, it would be bigger than our paper.
It would be too big. So that's called scale. We got to take what we see outside and we got to draw things a lot smaller so we can fit everything on our map. So that's one important word, scale. The other important word, get your magic wand, is called symbols. See, symbols. And symbols are really important on a map because if you draw a tree or a boulder or a road or trail, usually you would make them look kind of similar, so people know when they look at it, they say like, oh, that's a tree. Oh, that's a river. So they know what it looks like. So we have these symbols are going to be really important when we draw them on our maps. And the last thing that's really important that most maps need, ready? Give it a ding, is a key or a legend. And a key or a legend, I like the word legend anyway, because it's just like spooky or something, a legend. And if you've seen we saw Onward, right? A couple like weeks ago. In the movie Onward, when they're looking for, what were they looking for? Like a crystal? They had a map, and they were using that map to get to where they needed to go. And I'm not sure if on their map they had a legend or a key, but a legend or a key just lists all the things, all the symbols that are on your map for just easy reference. Which is really cool. We can do this too. We can both make our own maps today, and then maybe when you make your map, you can have a treasure at the end of your map, and I can use it and try to find the treasure. And then when I make my map today, I'll have a treasure at the end of my map. So we can make treasure maps. We can turn these into treasure maps. So you'll hide something for me, and I'll have to find it using your map. So our maps have to be pretty accurate. So if I'm using your map and I'm looking for the treasure, then you have to label the things on your map and draw the pictures of the things to help me get to where I need to go. Okay, that's just, you don't have to make it into a treasure map. You can just draw a map of your house or a map of your neighborhood or wherever it is that you want, or whatever it is you want to make a map of. But in order to make a map, we have to do two things. We have to survey and we have to explore our environment. So that's what we're going to do now. Me and you, I think what we're going to do, we're going to go outside to make our map. So we're going to just take some scrap paper, Charlie and I. By the way, this is Charlie, my assistant. We're both going to take a piece of scrap paper and we're going to go out and we're just going to kind of sketch out our map. Just sloppy and real easy so we know where things are. That's called surveying. We're going out there and we're surveying our environment and just making sure we know what's out there. Okay? And then we're going to come back and then we're going to take all of our surveying and all of our exploring and labeling everything, and we're going to turn it into a big map. And you can make your map and I can make my map. What do you say? Yeah. Okay. The materials you can use for this, really, you can just use a pencil and a piece of paper. But when we make our good maps, we're going to use colored markers. Maybe we'll use some watercolor. Maybe, what are these? These are neat. Who bought you these? Oh, they're like, what are they called? They're almost like oil pastel sticks or something. They're really cool. Okay, but we can use these. We can use a whole bunch of other stuff. Did I say watercolor? Did I say oil pastels? Colored pencils? Whatever you want to use to make your map. Keep it fun. If you don't want to go outside, just make a map of your living room. Where the couch is at. Where the kitchen's at. Where the steps are at. Okay, and then draw a map as if you were looking down inside your house so you can show someone how to get from one spot to another spot. Okay, so we're going to put some shoes and socks on. I'm going to put a hoodie on because it's a little chilly out there, and we're going to go out, we're going to do some surveying, and we're going to start making our maps. Okay, sound good? Yeah. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, so here we are, we're outside. Say hi, Charlie. All right, so what do you got in your hand?
Pencil and a paper.
Okay, and we decided, just for the sake of time and stuff, that we're going to team up, Charlie, and we're going to make one big map together. Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
And then we can like maybe get Sean and that's my son, he can follow the map to the treasure, and he can have the reward when he finds the treasure. Sound like a plan? Okay, so we have to think about where we're going, right? So we should definitely include our house, right? So maybe just write this down, Charlie. When we leave our house, what's the first thing we see right here?
This is our driveway.
Our driveway. So write that down, or just, you don't have to, spelling doesn't have to be perfect, but just write driveway. So we know we're going to include our driveway. Okay? Okay, and then when we walk, so now we're going to go for a walk and we're going to think about our map. We're going to survey. Now, surveyors use a lot of fancy equipment when they survey and when they plot things on a map. We can't do that, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
So we're just going to kind of wing it. But like when we walk down our driveway, which way should we make our map? So we walk down our driveway and we see the sidewalk, right? Sidewalk. So we should probably write sidewalk down.
Sidewalk.
Okay, and does it go both ways, the sidewalk?
Yeah.
Yes. And what else? What's next to the sidewalk? What's this long thing that the car just drove on?
Road.
The road, our street. So that's number 3, sidewalk, street. We got to include these things. Now, if we were like out in the wilderness, maybe this road would be a river, maybe the Amazon, and next to it would be a trail. So if you want to make your map of just some like mythical place that's not real, go for it. That'd be really cool. I would love to see that kind of map. Okay, so we're going to make like kind of like a real map, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. So now we're going to start going for a walk, and we're going to, any type we see a landmark. Oh, Charlie, that's one word that I didn't, wave your magic wand. Ding, landmarks. So we got to think of like things that don't move, that are always there. Like, what's this thing, Charlie?
That's
Light post, right? So write that next to driveway so we know where to put it in our drawing. We got to include our light post. So that's a good landmark, because maybe on our map, if they're finding the treasure, at the light post they have to make a right. So we're going to go on a little journey, right, Charlie? And we're going to start writing down landmarks and features of our environment. Maybe it's a hill, maybe it's a rock, all that kind of stuff, so we can better draw our environment and better make a map of where we live. Thumbs up, Charlie? All right, we'll see you in a little bit. So we're back. Cold out there. Isn't it cold out there?
Yeah.
Really cold out there. Yeah. So we pretty much just wrote down what we're going to put in our map. We didn't really draw anything, but we made a list. We went all the way up to what number? 26 of all the things 27 of all the really cool stuff that we saw in our neighborhood, all the landmarks, all the features, and we're going to kind of try to turn all that into a map. One more thing about a map, it's really hard because we're trying to make something that's 3D. We're taking a 3D environment and we're trying to turn it into something that's flat and 2D. And even harder, we're trying to pretend that we can see it from above and that we're looking down on it. So if we were drawing a tree, do you think if we were looking down on a tree from above like this, like hello, do you think we would see the tree trunk or just the top of the tree? Will we see underneath or just the top? Because we're looking down on it. If you were a bird, yeah, we'd just see the top. If we were up in the air and we were looking down on a house, would we see inside the house? We would see the roof. So we just got to use our imagination when we draw all these things, okay? For like we're looking down on things. We found some really cool roll paper, or I did, this is your old art roll paper, that all I did, and since we're working together, we'll just use one piece. All I did was I cut a piece of roll paper. That way it will really look like a map. So we can like open it up like a map, like this, like, oh, look at this map. So we're going to use a piece of roll paper to make our map, and we can draw it on here with pencils and markers and Crayola markers and maybe watercolors, but the paper's kind of thin. So we're gonna start making our map, and we're gonna check back. You guys can check back on us in a little bit, and you can see our progress, and then you get a better idea of like how you want to make your map. Okay. So see you in a little bit. Bye. Okay, so we laid out our paper. We had to keep it flat. We put some things down so it would stay nice and flat. And what are you drawing right now, Charlie? What part?
I'm like doing the sidewalk.
Oh, okay. And what else did we do so far? We did what below that? What's this? What's this right here?
Driveway.
Before that, this right here.
Oh, the roof.
Of our house, yeah. So right now she's working on the house, the driveway, and the sidewalk. And I can tell already it's not going to be perfect because there's a lot of things we could add to this if we made a really accurate map. But we're just going to have fun making our map, and we're going to see what it looks like when we're done. So we're using pencils and black marker right now, and then we'll go back in and add some color. So, but I'll check back with you guys in just a little bit to show you our progress. Charlie, I'm going to make lunch too. Okay? See ya.
Bye.
Okay, everyone. Hello. Welcome back. Say hi, Charlie.
Hi.
It's day 2 because we put so much work into our map yesterday. We decided to take a break and just, we'll finish it. We just said we'll just finish it tomorrow because we added so much color. We used markers. We used crayons. We used a little bit of watercolor.
Yeah.
Colored pencils. And we even used some Sharpies too for some highlights and details. The other thing that I talked about this the other day, is I made a little key or a legend. And I painted it so it looked kind of old. But this labels all the features and landmarks that are in our map, so we can reference this and look at this. You don't have to make something like this. You can actually make it on your map, but I made it separate because we ran out of room. I kind of cut some of the corners, and I just wanted to make it look kind of like old, almost like a treasure map. So that's our legend, that's our key that labels the important features on our map, but I'll show you that in a minute. And then what we did is we used the roll paper to make our map, so it just kind of looked like a map when we opened it up. So you want to open it up, Charlie, and show everyone our map?
Oh my goodness, it's huge.
That's our map. And I even took a Sharpie, and Charlie and I worked together on this, by the way. She did some of it, and I did some of it. It was fun. So if you're looking at this and you're saying like, wow, Charlie did all of that? No, I helped her, right? I helped you. So, but the one part I did at the end is I kind of cut the edges of my paper and made it look ripped and old, so it looks like an old map. And what we did is we just drew different parts of our neighborhood, like right around our house. So, you want to tell people about the map a little bit?
Yeah. So this is our house.
Okay.
We have our driveway and our light post.
Point to the light post so they can see it.
And
okay.
This is the tree next to it. And this is our deck, of course. And across the street is their shed and another person's house.
The neighbor's house, yeah.
Yeah. And that's these are all
what are all these squares and rectangles represent? What are they? Of what, homes, different houses?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what else is on our map? What did we do at the top?
We said it was unknown because there was a bunch of trees there, and we never really go there.
No, we never really go. It's funny, when we made the map, we never go on this side of the street behind the houses, so we couldn't make a map of that part, so we kind of made it called the unknown. And if you look at old maps from hundreds of years ago, when they would make a map, some parts of the map that they didn't know anything about, they would just not draw in that spot, and then the map would just end. And some artists got really creative, and they would do really fun stuff in those spots and make serpents and dragons in those spots, and because no one knew what was there, they would just make stuff up. So what did we call it, Charlie?
The unknown.
The unknown. And I put some mist up there and a dragon up there. What else did we do?
We did a bunch of bushes. We did the trees a little bigger, so it looks like trees, the top of the tree.
And we made the bushes smaller.
Yeah.
From looking at our map too, Charlie, from looking at it, what do you think we have a lot of in our neighborhood?
We have a lot of bushes.
We have a lot of bushes. What else do we have a lot of?
And we have a lot of houses. We have,
What else? Anything else? A lot of trees, right?
yeah.
A lot of grass. Look at all the
Yeah.
green. There's a lot of grass
And-
there.
We do have a lot of cars, but there's no cars on it.
No, we didn't draw cars. We left the cars out. And then, do you think this is what like a bird would see if they were flying really high and looking down at our neighborhood?
Yeah.
We hope so. I thought we did a pretty good job. You did pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I like the detail.
You want to tell them the secret about our map near the tree stump? Tell them about it.
We have like a spot here. It's like X'd out, like X marks the spot. It's where we're gonna like hide treasure there, like this little.
A little chocolate egg. We're gonna hide the chocolate egg right where it says X marks the spot, and we're gonna give this map to someone, and we're gonna say, all right, here's the map, and we're gonna see if they can figure out where they are and where they need to go to get the chocolate egg. So it's kind of like a little side game we made with our map. But big piece of paper would work best with when you make your map. But if you don't have big paper, you can use small paper. You can make a little map. It can be a map of your house, like I said, your living room, your basement, your deck, your backyard. But just make it colorful. Fill the paper with color. Make it bright, make it beautiful. And this took more than a day. But we didn't work on it the whole time, did we?
Can I tell them what
Sure.
the brown is?
What's the brown?
That's mulch,
Mulch. Like little gardens we made. We put like little mulch around it.
and
Anything
that's
else?
like a gravel road because like across the street there's like a gravel road leading to the shed.
So we made that road look different than the other roads.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our map. Thanks for viewing. So one more view before I say goodbye, but this is our map, and you know, this is the unknown up here, right, Charlie?
Yeah.
And then these are the houses, the tops of the houses across the street. And there's some trees and some bushes, and there's that gravel trail. And then the one thing I did want to show you is the legend we made, the key. So, you know, this is what, these are what trees look like. No, that would be a tree. And I made like little tinier ones. What are they, Charlie?
Bushes.
The bushes, and you can see like the little ones would be bushes. Any bushes around here. If you see something like that on the map,
That's like a little garden.
yeah, flowers
Like-
or a garden.
yeah.
Do we have any on our map?
We have right there and then like a whole garden right here
front
because
of-
they love gardening.
In front of our neighbor's house, right?
Yeah.
And then another thing that's on our key and on our legend is this symbol, which means what?
Fence.
So you can see if you look around our map,
There's a fence.
there's a fence and
And there. This
there's
is my
a
favorite
little
house,
bit of
by the way.
fence, the rainbow house. And then we have a fence like between these houses right here, and then a fence between these houses right there. And then the other things on our legend, street, the sidewalk, grass, which is everywhere. There's that tree trunk, the tree stump, and that's where we're going to put our chocolate treasure, right next to the tree trunk, right next to the tree trunk. I made a little bit more in the back of because I ran out of space. But anything that's a square or a rectangle and it's really colorful, that's either a building or a home. If it's a circle with a dot in it, or a square with a dot in it, that represents a light post. So that's the one that's outside our house.
And this is the circle one.
There's one at our neighbor's house. There's one across the street. These are all light posts. Okay, and obviously the gravel road and the treasure, which would be right there.
Yay!
Thanks for watching our video, and I hope you enjoy looking at our map, and I hope you enjoy making your own map and just make it fun. Okay, bye.
Bye.